All right, hello and welcome everyone to the first match of Blacklist versus Missing Ping Mafia. We are getting it kicked off again with more action from the Overclock League, or from the Surge League, excuse me. We're going to jump right into pick and ban here. Blacklist have elected, they have won the coin toss and they have elected to take blue side for this first match. They're going to start us off with a Shyvana ban. Definitely a very strong champion after the changes that came through. Her ultimate now having a fear makes her quite a bit more utilizable. She has been seen a little bit top lane, but mostly in competitive play. I think we've seen her jungle. Haven't really seen her a whole lot though. So definitely a little interesting to see the Shyvana ban come out. But Missing Ping Mafia will answer back with a Lux ban. And of course, Darius, for the side of Blacklist, MPM bragging earlier today about their Darius mastery. So not surprised to see that one go. MPM will answer with an additional top lane ban in the Kale. A very strong scaling mid lane, or top laner, excuse me. But a little bit rough. You really have to play that lane correctly if you want to be able to make it to late game on the Kale. Needing to make it to 35 minutes in order for that champion to really do a whole lot. So, interesting ban from the side of MPM. Not wanting this game to go super long. And we'll see. That is a none ban coming out from the side of Blacklist. We'll see what that ban is supposed to be. No report just yet. But MPM, one remaining ban. And they will lock in the Victor ban. So, not really a lot of focus on one particular lane from any of these teams. It's kind of all spread out across the board. I suppose that none ban is Rengar. Rengar is commented as the third ban for Blacklist. They are going to take their first pick here. We'll see what they like to prioritize. We really want to see a strong laner come out. And given that MPM has banned the Kale, I would like to see a scaling pick like the Smolder. Blacklist having a little bit of trouble here. Not sure what's going on, but that is another none ban for their side. Or sorry, excuse me, another none pick. So not sure if they're having some technical difficulties here. Looks like we had a disconnect from the side of MPM, so, or excuse me, from Blacklist, so it will be just a couple of minutes. Give us just one moment, guys. We are going to throw it over to a quick break while we redo this draft. I do apologize about that. It's going to be just a couple of minutes, so hang tight. We'll be right back. All right, apologies about that, everyone. Thanks for sticking with us. We are right back into it. We did have some technical difficulties. Bans will remain the same. BLT will go ahead and ban out the Rengar this time as well, and then they will take their first pick. So we'll have to see what they prioritize here. Definitely would like to see some strong scaling coming out from the side of BLT, and they do elect to take the Nocturne. An interesting first pick here. I am not super happy with that first pick, but Nocturne, definitely being a strong jungler, is able to turn out the lights and make things difficult in a team fight, especially if MPM do elect to take the Shen. Shen usually countered pretty hard by Nocturne, but does have a short amount of time to press that R button onto someone if they know exactly where that ultimate is going. Unfortunately, Nocturne's indicator does not show until after the lights have been turned off. They do lock it in, which is an interesting choice, but that Nocturne R also doesn't last forever, and there are ways to get around it. So Ashe going to be the lock-in for MPM. A bit of an immobile AD carry. So again, another interesting choice into the Nocturne, but if Ashe can survive, if she does have a strong tank support, or even something like a Lulu next to her that is able to make these Nocturne ultimates a little less scary, wait for that Shen to come in. Caitlyn going to be the answer from BLT. A lot of strong lane contention, and definitely Caitlyn has a lot of strength in the bot lane right now. With that the new Hextech Optics item, she is able to do a lot of damage, and having a Leona by her side is definitely a very good pickup from the side of BLT. And I really want to see BLT at this point focus bot lane in the early game. I think once Leona hits that level 6, Nocturne able to turn out the lights and really create some very strong dive potential on the side of BLT. MPM need something to keep that Ashe safe. A Jarvan coming out for them. Not the worst pick, but also not quite what I wanted to see. We'll have to see what support comes out for the side of MPM, because that is going to make all the difference. If you get your hands on something like a Lulu, could be okay, but you really have to be careful of the spell shield coming out from the Nocturne. I am really curious to see what MPM focuses, what lane they choose to ban out for, because they do have that Shen right now, and it could very well be Shen support. That is the possibility. Shen support a little bit weaker than Shen top lane, not able to have that same pushing power that we know from Shen top, but is an option. Veigar going to be the first ban from the side of MPM to kick off this second round of bans, and it will be answered by the Kled. So they seem to believe that it is Shen support, or that it has the potential to be Shen support. Also could have been River Shen, but with the Jarvan pickup makes that a lot less likely. Malzahar going to be the second ban for the side of NPM, and that will wrap up their ban phase. So quite a bit of mid lane focus here. Lux could be mid or support, but for potential mid lane champions on BLT, they will wrap their bans up with a Vayne, and NPM will early pick a Lissandra, which makes sense given how much focus they put on this mid lane. They really want to be able to take away one of the stronger options, and Sylas going to be the answer. A few good ultimates for the Sylas to pick up, but it does prevent the Malphite coming out from the side of NPM. And Ornn going to wrap up this BLT team composition. Definitely a lot of engage coming out from their side. Ornn able to ultimate over the top. Sylas, if he has a Jarvan or a Lissandra ult, can definitely make things pretty scary. Nocturne, of course, over the top with a Leona, R, and Caitlyn in the back line to do all the damage. Definitely a scary team comp coming out from the side of BLT. A lot that they can do with this. We'll see how well they pilot it. MPM, though. All right, welcome back, everyone. We are in game for game number 1. I am definitely excited to see how this first game shakes out. A little bit of early action coming out from the side of both of these teams here. Mid lane, ADC, and support all walking together to get an early ward onto the side of BLT. We'll see if there's any real action. Ornn and Cho'Gath just kind of scouting each other out. A little bit of poke back and forth. But not too much coming on. Not too much happening as the first minion wave will start to crash between these two teams. Mid lane definitely going to be a very interesting matchup. Sylas really not going to have a great time early until he hits level 2 or 3. And so Lissandra is really going to need to use this time to poke out as much as possible. As we will get a little bit of a slap fight up here in top lane. Not really a whole lot that should be happening from both of these teams. Ornn should be able to really kind of shrug off most of the stuff that Cho'Gath wants to do. Of course, is able to poke out a little bit more, but on the bot lane here, EDD in a little bit of trouble. Pseudo also taking a lot of damage and a lot of early poke coming out from both of these laners. Now remember, Carol has an interesting rune choice. Will be opting for the first strike, where on the side of Torres, we will be getting lethal tempo on that Ashe, and so a little bit more early power coming out from the side of Jay here to make this an interesting fight against Biotics, who has gone in on, I'm not quite sure, Awala Dola on that Lissandra. And now Awala going to walk in with their jungler, going to steal away some of those chickens. And Nocturne is not going to be too happy about this. Antibiotics is here as well. First blood going over to the Sylas, but a trade back. And Jay in quite a lot of trouble as Pseudo is here to help out. A couple of flashes coming out mean that BLT will be up a little bit on this trade. First blood going over to the Sylas is definitely not what you want to see, but is traded back. So not all is lost. Good moves from both supports, recognizing that there was a lot of action about to happen around those chickens. But unfortunately, Pseudo just there slightly earlier means that BLT does win out on that trade. And a lot of action happening early in this game. I definitely want to see more, but I think this is exactly what both teams need to do. They need to fight to find the advantages over their lane opponents and be able to create a gold lead. While trading very heavily onto antibiotics. And Sylas and Lissandra both able to pick up that blasting rod early. We'll be interested to see how the Sylas itemizes, but of course, for the side of the Lissandra, that Malignance is so huge. Able to cast that ultimate really quickly. As Ronit taking a little bit worse trades than that Cho'Gath is up. Cho'Gath up about 20 CS at this point. Has been farming a little bit better, but with the wave being pushed in. Ooh, antibiotics here in a bit of trouble. Jay does not take turret aggro until really late. Is now in a bit of trouble of his own and cannot get help from that Lissandra. A little bit rough. Not able to shove in that wave quickly. And a lot of action really happening around this mid lane. Unfortunately, Jay not able to capitalize on it as much as his opponent. Nocturne 2-0 early. And despite having some of his chickens taken away, he is going to be up a little bit in gold over his lane opponent. Up here in the top lane, though, a little bit of trading back and forth. Ornn, having used that TP to get back to lane, does have the advantage with that Bombing Cinder and is going to do more damage to Francis. Owaladola, taking some heavy trades from the Sylas now, is up a little bit. Sylas going to have a little bit more health. And Lissandra going to have a little bit more cooldown. But of course, Lissandra Q, very spammable ability, able to quickly clear those waves, does slow the Sylas down and makes those trades a little bit more difficult. Gives the Lissandra more time. And Lissandra, speaking of which, is coming down here for a gank. Nocturne in the area though. Caitlyn flashing away, but not able to flash quite far enough. Pseudo also falling, and Nocturne being here just does not matter. Antibiotics is going to look for a potential counterplay. Torres is low and very smartly uses the Hawk Shot to spot out that Sylas. So very good early move from the side of this Lissandra. Does have to use the ult, but gaining an advantage down here on the bottom side, where a small CS lead was starting to accrue for the side of the Caitlyn, is now turned back in the favor of the Ashe. It will pick up those early boots as opposed to a longsword. So Caitlyn going to have a little bit more damage, but of course Ashe going to have a little bit more mobility, is able to run down his lane opponent. And now everything kind of resets. Sylas is going to have a bit of a problem here though. He is about halfway, and speaking of problems, Carol in a very big has a very big problem, is exhausted up, is slowed, does not have that additional movement speed, used the flash before, and will go down. Torres trying to finish off Pseudo here, who did try to prevent the Ashe from getting that kill. Nocturne though, level 6 here, does manage to spot out the Ashe, who does have both summoners, and oh no, Pseudo going in on EDD, gets taunted up underneath the turret, and both of them are going to be quite low. If the side of Missing Pink Mafia wants to chase this, Pseudo trying to get something back for his team will flash onto the Ashe and does manage to get it, but on the top side, it's a 3-man dive and that Ornn just falls apart. Francis taking a lot of damage, Waladola taking that final turret shot, but they do manage to successfully 3-man turret dive the top lane, and Missing Pink Mafia making a lot of moves here. I really like what they're showing. Seems like despite the amount of problems that this team has had, they have really managed to put together a coordinated team. And looking very strong here in this first game. They will successfully pick up all 3 Void Grubs after completing that turret dive. And in my opinion, well deserved. Nocturne going to look for the bot objective, will be trying to take that Wind Dragon. Both teams having full members here. Antibiotics does have the Lissandra ult, and EDD is here trying to cause some trouble. Waladola though, very low and does not have the ultimate. Pseudo killing Torres off early in this fight, but a response. Nocturne goes down. Jay though really low here, and it is quite a bit of health advantage for the side of BLT. Jay going to be walking away from this fight, as EDD attempting to prevent this 3-man from killing off this Drake, but unfortunately just not able to do a whole lot. Waladola will attempt to steal this Drake, does have the ultimate this time, and Jay will come over to his death just to steal the Drake. And both teams making some very interesting decisions here, in my opinion. In fact, Torres just made another one, trying to find a couple of kills, but not really able to land any of them. Not quite sure. A lot of miscommunication going on, and some back and forth team fighting. We will be completely even here at 10 minutes. 9 kills to 9 kills, 18.5 gold, 18.5k gold for both of these teams. Completely even. The only difference is that Missing Pink Mafia are up in objectives. 1 Drake, 3 Void Grubs, and complete objective control for the side of Missing Pink Mafia. In the mid lane, though, we definitely see some interesting choices. First, items are coming out, and it is going to be the Malignants for Lissandra as expected, but it is going to be the Rod of Ages coming out for the Sylas here. Definitely not something that you see very often, but does make Silas very tanky. Makes things very difficult for him. And now, speaking of difficult, Awaladola finds himself in a bit of a sticky situation, but not a lot of damage coming out from that Silas, and he will get stunned up by the Ash Arrow. An interesting decision to fight there, considering how little damage the Silas does have, and will get punished for that decision. Silas 4, 3, and 2 now does have the upgraded chain lace crushers. Excuse me. And I'm definitely this game is bloody, but in a very confusing way. I think a lot of these fights have happened in ways that I don't necessarily understand. A very good silence coming out from Francis on that Cho'Gath. Raked is here to try and make some things happen, but they're getting it turned around on them. Ornn is not very healthy, and in the bot lane, more fighting going on. EDD trying to kill off this Caitlyn, while Pseudo trying to kill off the Ashe. Both supports focusing their opposing lane. And Carol will finally go down to Jay, who comes down to make this a bit of an unfair fight. But again, a lot of these fights are really, really confusing. There's no objectives up. There's not really a reason for these teams to be fighting right now. Francis on the top side does manage to take down the Ornn, probably ate him. Nope, never mind, did not eat him, as his ultimate is still up, doing a lot of damage to that top lane turret as EDD pushes in this bottom wave. Francis will take the top lane turret. And a very accelerated Cho'Gath, going full AP it looks like. Excuse me. So we have one laner who we expect to go tank and is going full AP, and on the other side we have a different laner who we expect to go full AP and is going tank. Awaladola in a bit of trouble here, but does use the ultimate just in time, and a lot of collapse coming out here from Missing Ping Mafia. This game is so bloody as Francis comes down to the mid lane to chomp, or excuse me, to get the kill onto the Silas. Nocturne soon to follow as Torres walks up to secure that kill. And Francis will take some of his mid laner's turrets, punishing him for dying in that previous fight. Meanwhile, on the top side, Ornn just trying to collect as much gold as he can. And now, Missing Ping Mafia, with a 2k gold lead, after all is said and done, Francis will attempt to kill off this Ornn. Does have the knockup, but of course Ornn can go unstoppable. And a flash coming out from the Ornn means that he will get away with his life, if only barely. Antibiotics here, though, in the mid lane, pushing this wave in. And it really looks like Francis just wants to be a side lane terror at this point. AP Cho'Gath definitely does a lot of damage and does need to be respected for sure. Those Vorpal spikes will definitely hurt, and dealing over half of Ornn's HP pool. EDD getting his ultimate stolen away by the Silas here. Antibiotics having that Silas ultimate with the extra health will be relatively tanky. But Missing Ping Mafia really want to contest for this Drake. And it looks like Blacklist have multiple members here who are also looking in response. The ultimate coming out from Pseudo, coming out from Nocturne as well, onto the Lissandra. Does survive for a while, but definitely tough. And the Drake going down to 46 HP means that Wraith will take that, but Taurus will take his life in response. Jay falling on that bottom side to Carol and Pseudo. And a shutdown. Ooh, EDD going in for the taunt on Silas, but does not work out for him. Taurus having to flash away from the chain. And now Francis is here to turn the tables back for the side of his team. A 2-for-1 plus the Drake for the side of Blacklist. Very interesting. Looks like a slight missed smite from Jay means that Drake will go over to the enemy team, and a very close team fight from both of these teams, despite how well Missing Ping Mafia have been conducting their team fights. Warren staying in the top lane for most of that fight, just electing to try and scale it out as much as possible. Trying to get to that important level 14 to be able to start handing out some major items to his teammates, as Missing Ping Mafia will now attempt to take the Rift Herald, and it looks like for the side of Blacklist, they've elected to just give this particular objective over. And Francis will be here, will have ultimate, will attempt to top this up. But Nocturne making a play on the bottom side, knowing that Ashe does not have flash. The barrier will come out, but unfortunately it's just not going to be quite enough unless EDD pressing ultimate on his ADC. Almost survives, but not quite. Definitely a good look, though, from the side of Blacklist, understanding that they cannot contest for this objective, that they are not out on the map in time. And so electing to make a play on the bottom side, they do use a lot of resources for that particular play, but doing as much damage to Ashe as possible. EDD, though, up here in the top lane, going to work with Jay to kill off this Ornn. Ornn going to call the Forge God, going to try to go unstoppable, but unfortunately 3 versus 1 is not a fair fight, and when you are 0 and 4, Ornn can definitely be a very strong champion, but needs a bit of gold to make that happen. Jay here going to peek his head into Nocturne's blue side jungle and try to steal away as much as possible. Antibiotics and Francis battling it out on this bottom side. Antibiotics is really low, and Francis almost gets him within his eat range. Antibiotics needs to be really careful about playing this. He does have the Cho'Gath ultimate. Pseudo, though, getting jumped on by Owaladola and EDD. Nocturne coming over the top here. The Lissandra ult does come out in response to the Leona ultimate, but Owaladola, ooh, having to get multiple flashes out. EDD needing to flash in front of his mid laner there. And Owaladola attempting to flash over the wall does fail that, unfortunately. But in the end, Caitlyn should be satisfied with collecting 2 flashes off of 2 very strong members. No flash taunt available for the next 5 minutes for EDD. No flash root available for Owaladola, and that will be... well, we'll see how they choose to take advantage of this. Francis attempting to recall. Not really going to be too mad about collecting another wave, though. Is Ornn going to try to make his life a little bit miserable, but Francis still has a decent amount of mana. Carol is down here now, and Pseudo is not far behind, and I don't think Francis really wants to stay for too much longer. The Call of the Forge God will come out. Francis still very healthy. Does have a couple of team members here to help back him up. And now they want to engage, it looks like. Owaladola coming over the top will take out the Ornn. His teammates not completing the path down to bot lane, and will leave him out to dry. And now we're kind of starting to see how some of these team fights are going. Both teams definitely having some pretty strong pick potential, but right now Missing Ping Mafia are doing a much better job of picking off the enemy laners, especially this Ornn. 0, 5, and 0. Still not level 14. Will be alive in time for this next Hextech Drake, but unfortunately not a lot of other people on the map right here. And Carol in a bit of a dangerous spot. Jay going over the wall, expecting his team to finish off the Drake. Owaladola trying to go forward here. Does have the Shen ulti coming out. Will use his own. And Carol is now in a really tough spot. No flash, no barrier. But still able to make it out. Definitely a bit of a rough play from both teams, but both summoners off of this relatively immobile AD carry in the Caitlyn makes her a lot easier to kill a little bit later on, especially given the comp that MPM have. Ornn finally able to take the top lane turret, but in response, the mid lane will go down, and the Herald running across lanes. We'll see. Oh, Francis, you're going to have to revoke your driver's license there, buddy. Does just miss the turret by a little bit. Tries to catch up to the Ornn, but unfortunately not able to spot him out. We'll see him now on this ward, but Leona here to protect. I'm going to have to wait just a little bit longer to collect those crystals on that top lane tier 2. 22 minutes into this particular game and a 4K gold lead in the favor of MPM. 4 turrets to 1, 2 Drakes, and of course the Void Grubs. Missing Ping Mafia in a very strong position right now, but they need to be able to close this out. We'll see how they choose to do so. Right now, 4 men in the mid lane, 1 on the bottom side, and seeing that Nocturne on the bottom side means that they are going to attempt a very quick Baron. Jay spotting out a ward that was placed in the river. But right now, the only people here to answer are the Leona and the Caitlyn. I'm not quite sure if that's going to be enough damage. Antibiotics not far behind, though, and Carol, they opt for the turn. Carol is just dead. Soon to follow. Ornn here, but not really going to make a whole lot of difference. Does call the Forge God, but of course Francis shows up to help out the team. Ornn, a very tanky person, but not tanky enough, as Torres a little bit low, but a full 4 for 0 for the side of Missing Ping Mafia, and they are going to attempt to finish off this Baron. Francis now here does not have the Chomp. Did use it earlier in that team fight, but honestly does not matter. 3k left, and Nocturne will not even poke his head in. And that will be the Baron for Missing Ping Mafia. A little bit of a lack of coordination coming in for the side of BLT. People just walking in small groups, and you really cannot do that into this team, especially given how far ahead they are. And BLT getting punished. Drake coming up in a minute and a half. They're going to have to survive this push if they want to have any potential opportunity to contest for this objective and make it so that Missing Ping Mafia cannot go onto Soul Point. But right now, several members of this Missing Ping Mafia team pushing down the mid lane do only have 1 cannon, and Carol is able to take it out, but is going to take an Ash Arrow to the face in response. Pseudo not long for this world either. Nocturne turning out the lights here could make this team fight a little bit difficult, but Jay is here now, and Francis going to flash ultimate the Nocturne, get that guy out of here. That is the mid inhibitor turret gone. The inhibitor quickly to follow. 2 people left. Ornn and Antibiotics have it all to do. The Forge God is called. Antibiotics jumping onto Torres does manage to take him down. Ornn also taking down Awaladola. And a 3 for 4, I guess, extended from this team. Francis a little bit low, did have to back and did not have the TP, so his team was a little bit on the weaker side. And now they're going to have to contest for this Drake against 4 members of BLT. Are just going to sit in a bush, see if they can bait a couple of people. They do have the Scuttle Crab. Oh, Carol with a good board will spot out that attempted play. Nocturne turning out the lights will go on to Jay. Orn very close behind. Leonel coming over the top. Jay trying to get on to Carol, but just not able to do so. Does manage to take out the Orn, but very low himself. Raked will fall on that Nocturne, and EDD ulting over the top to save his team will successfully do so, and that will be Soul Point. Carol falling, and Antibiotics, the only remaining member of his team, trying to clear out this mid lane. Is missing Ping Mafia, marching it down. Looking to end this game. Antibiotics will get away from the Ashe ultimate. Does not take an arrow to the face like his ADC. Walladola flashing on Antibiotics. Does use the ultimate. Jarvan ultimate coming over the top. And that will be the end of the Silas. That may just be the end of this game as they are hitting the Nexus with everything they've got. And they will manage to take it down. Missing Ping Mafia up 1-0. All right, apologies about that, everyone. We had a little bit of technical difficulties on our side, but we did get the draft started, so let's quickly run through what's going on here. BLT have elected to remain on blue side. They are going to ban Kled, Rengar, and Zac for their bans. On the side of MPM, we will get similar bans to what we saw before. It will be the Kale, the Lux, and the Victor. Orianna going to be the first pickup from the side of BLT. Amumu and Misfortune going to be the first two pickups for the side of MPM. A very strong combo, but a little bit countered by the Orianna. And I'm sure MPM would have liked to have snatched the Orianna for themselves, but unfortunately not able to do so. And so MPM going to have a decently strong combo, but do need to be careful of that Orianna ball. Smolder going to be the response to the Misfortune, and we'll see what support they want to pair with it. I would definitely like to see an Enchanter come out for the side of BLT. They will pick up the Warwick to round out their first round of picks. MPM with a response potentially for the mid lane, and a also good pickup from BLT, knowing how strongly MPM focused them in the second round of bans. Vi hovered as the response to the Warwick. Warwick definitely not something we see super often in competitive play, and so definitely can be an annoyance. He does have a pretty healthy quick clear, so I'd like to see what it is that MPM lock in, and they will lock in the Vi. So we're going to get down to the second round of bans. MPM going to start us off. We'll see, since the Orianna has been picked up in the mid lane, not likely to be support, but could potentially be there. I would not like to see it there, but we'll see. We'll see where MPM opts to focus. Milio going to be the first ban from them, and I definitely think that's a very good look. You do not want this Smolder supported by any strong enchanters. Lulu should also be banned, in my opinion. I think that that is also a very strong laner. Darius going to be banned for MPM. And we'll see what MPM opts to finish off their ban phase with in the second series. Potentially a Lulu or another enchanter like Nami could be good options for the side of BLT. And it is going to be the Brand, which is an interesting option. A lot of poke that could come out from the Brand, but I really wanted to see another enchanter pick. Smolder able to survive for a long time with an enchanter support. We'll see what BLT answer in response, as both sides have missing members. MPM missing a support, and BLT currently missing, or sorry, BLT missing a support currently, and MPM currently missing a mid laner. TF going to be the final ban for the side of BLT, trying to deny some of those annoying global pick options. I actually just realized I'm not entirely sure where the spy is going. Amumu is already... Oh, Amumu is likely support. Interesting. Okay, so Vi in the jungle, Amumu support. Malzahar going to be the pickup for MPM. So a lot of lockdown coming out for the side of MPM. Malzahar is going to struggle a little bit into Orianna. Orianna very easily able to clear the void minions that Malzahar can spawn. Janna going to be the pickup for the side of BLT. A very strong support and very good at disengaging, which will be crucial for the side of BLT. A little bit of anti-synergy coming out between Orianna and Janna, but with the Warwick may not be as big of a deal. We'll see what they opt to pick up for their final pick for this blue side. It will be the Jax. A very good ball carrier. Actually, two very good ball carriers coming out for the side of BLT. Jax and Warwick both able to hold that Orianna ball quite effectively. And with the fact that MPM kind of all want to pile onto one person, especially with the Amumu and the Malzahar and the Vi all locking down kind of the same person, I really want to see MPM try to get ahead, especially in that mid lane early. Because if they don't, Warwick or Jax coming out over the top with the Orianna ball would make things very difficult. And of course, the Smolder with the scaling at 25-30 minutes will be very difficult to catch. All right, welcome back for game number 2. Will Missing Ping Mafia be able to close this one out, or will Blacklist be able to strike back? It is going to be an exciting match from both of these teams, as EDD getting very aggressive early onto Antibiotics is landing both of the Qs. Antibiotics incredibly low on this Orianna, will have to recall, and Waladola does not want to let this happen. Is attempting to make something happen. Not able to though, and Antibiotics will successfully recall. Does have to expend that TP to get back to lane, but better than losing his flash or his life. We'll see how that mid lane continues to shake out, as the Waladola able to get that early push into the lane is going to be a little bit stronger early on. That Malzahar will have some XP advantage as well, and we'll see if Antibiotics and Rekt will be able to make something happen. On this bottom side though, Pseudo taking a lot of damage, does get caught up by the Q from EDD. Will be taken very, very low, does have to blow the heal, and a flash coming out from Torres. A response flash from Pseudo means that he will be also on 5 HP. EDD showing a lot of mastery on this Amumu, as we will get a small pause coming out here. And we'll see. Hopefully no more technical issues for tonight. We've been having a few of them, and definitely like to see this resolved. A little bit of trading back and forth in the top lane. Just a trade of abilities. Francis able to push this wave in very efficiently with that followed by passive. And Ronit needing to be a little bit more careful. Waladola also able to very easily push in this mid wave, but will have to take some poke from Antibiotics to do so. Orianna definitely a bit of a lane bully, and Malzahar really does not want to interact with this lane, really just wants to get as much farm as possible and scale up on that champion. Back in the mid lane though, Antibiotics a little bit low on mana. Is going to have less regen available to him than the Malzahar. Malzahar, of course, having quite a bit of regen. EDD contesting this pink ward here in the enemy try, and Jay is actually in the area, so if Pseudo isn't super careful, they could be in a bit of trouble here. Pink ward does go down though. Carol and Pseudo backing off. Ronit taking a lot of damage from Francis, who does have the lethal tempo, does need to be careful. Ooh, the ignite not going off, but both flashes from both laners. And now Francis is in a bit of trouble here. Oh, if Ronit walks up, he just dies. Not quite sure what was going through his head there. I really think Warwick could have finished off the kill on his own, but Jax wanting a piece of that pie, and now Jay is down here on this bottom side again. Is we okay? I'm not quite sure. Our camera having a bit of a problem there. Pseudo taking a lot of damage here. EDD looking for another Q. Not quite going to have it though. Nothing really happening on this bottom side. Pseudo just going to be a little unhealthy, and Jay really wanted to get that recall off, wanted to reset because his camps were respawning. Warwick is going to be a little bit faster on that early respawn. And we'll be back up top side, potentially to gank this Volibear again. For the side of Francis though, you are going to be very happy with how this lane matchup is going. Level 5 for both of these top laners here, and in the mid lane, Waladola ticking over to that level 6, which means that Vi should be in mid lane on repeat. EDD holding it down for the bottom lane, so I really don't think Vi needs to be down there too often. The pressure that EDD and Taurus have on those champions going to be immense, but of course you want to put Smolder behind as far as you possibly can. So a lot of good options for this Vi to gank. EDD clearing out vision on that early Drake, signaling that they would like to look for an early objective take with the amount of pressure that they do have. Waladola trying to get some deep vision, potentially. Does have that mid lane pushed in. Both mid laners now level 6. And Missing Ping Mafia now starting to move over towards that Drake. Warwick on the opposite side of the map would need to run pretty quickly. And Antibiotics taking a lot of poke here is a level down on a Waladola. Does elect to use that ultimate. EDD though, landing the bandage toss onto Antibiotics. Will flash over the wall, but will die anyway. A 1-for-0 in that fight. And the objective is going to go over. Warwick very smartly trying to take away as many camps as he can from his lane opponent. Unfortunately, with that delay on that gank on the bottom side, it means that really the only thing available for him is that red buff. And he will be happy to steal that away. Meanwhile, Jay is going to collect the last of his camps. Francis going super aggro onto Ronitz? Sorry, those weird characters got me a little bit. However, Jax gets the better of the Volibear in that fight, and he will go down. That turret turn off does not last for very long. And the stun, meaning that he is going to continue to take turret damage for quite a while. Antibiotics in this mid lane going to have a bit of a rough time now. The Blackfire and the burn item for Blackfire Torch going to make his life very difficult, and if those space aids ever happen to make it to him, which they just did, he is going to take a lot of damage. Meanwhile, Carol eating a Misfortune Q. Those things do hurt, especially if the minion dies beforehand. Both ADCs now level 6. And we'll see how that affects things in this lane. Francis trading onto this Jax as Jay and Waladola walk into the enemy jungle and start stealing away quite a few camps here. Waladola really helping out his jungler with as many camps as possible, trying to steal these away as efficiently as they can. They are going to look for the Void Grubs as well, with EDD up here to assist. And Missing Pink Mafia doing a really good job of controlling these objectives. This is something that you definitely want to see from teams in Overclock, especially if they would want to look to move up a division. And Waladola now sniffing out the Warwick. Usually his job. Oh, what a flash! Avoids the Warwick ultimate. And Torres is here now as well. This is one dead wolf. And Antibiotics is not long for this world either. The Vi ultimate coming out. Waladola not able to follow up, but it may not matter. Pseudo is trying to protect his mid laner. Does manage to do so successfully, but now the focus has changed to Carol, and the flash failure means that Mom will come out, and a flash over from Jay will successfully secure that kill. All summoners used and the ultimate for Carol on the Smolder, not able to get away. That will definitely be rough, especially once EDD has level 6 on this Amumu, not going to be able to get away from that Purse of the Sad Mummy. And a much more convincing gold lead coming out here for the side of Missing Pink Mafia. Waladola in a bit of trouble now, though. No ultimate available for the Orianna, but Jay is here to back up his mid laner. And a little bit of greed. Almost punished by the side of BLT. Not quite able to capitalize. Ten and a half minutes. An approximate 3k gold lead and full objective control for this Missing Pink Mafia team. Waladola doing a lot of damage to Antibiotics, but Warwick here to potentially try to protect his mid laner. And this matchup is not going well in the mid lane. Antibiotics having a very, very rough time into Waladola. Pseudo and Carol, though, are here. Ooh, the ultimate coming out from the Orianna. Pseudo here to make this very difficult, but Jay not far behind. Waladola getting pushed back by the Jenna ultimate. Very, very good from them, as Warwick attempting an ultimate. Pseudo now having to flash away. Mom comes out from Carol. Torres dealing a lot of damage. EDD getting that ultimate off with the flash, and oh my goodness, it is a double kill, technically a triple for this Misfortune. Oh my god. What a flash ultimate coming out from EDD. Very smart play and very smart rotations coming out from Missing Pink Mafia. As they will attempt to now take this Drake. They're going to drag it out to prevent the Warwick, who may be in the area. The Warwick passive is going to be on Jay, so he is going to know about this, and they are not going to be very safe. The Vault Breaker, though, means that Jay is able to collect this Drake very successfully. And now Torres is in a bit of trouble, but EDD is here to back up his support. He will land the bandage toss, and that is just a really rough time coming out for Rate. Francis now, a bit of a tough time himself. The ultimate coming out for both of these top laners, and Ignite coming out for the Jax means that the response ultimate from Francis to get away does not have the flash, and so will opt to use that R instead. Does have TP to get back to the lane, though. And a little bit of rough. The Triforce completed for Jax early on. The armor boots completed for the Volibear. Bit of an interesting choice, considering that there is a lot more magic damage coming out from this BLT team, but now Waladola in a bit of a rough position here. Does take a lot of damage and uses the ultimate, but not able to complete it. Jax is getting very low, though, and that Ignite will cause some issues. Antibiotics potentially the next to fall. But Warwick is here, and I don't know if Francis really can take this fight. Oh, never mind. Warwick is a champion. Okay. The passive coming out means that he is going to successfully collect both kills. Excuse me. Antibiotics will get the shutdown onto Jay, but Warwick passive coming in strong there is EDD and EDD and Torres managing to destroy Carol and Pseudo in the bot lane. We did miss what happened there, but action happening all over the map, and these teams are not disappointing. Torres is attempting to take this turret, will adjust the MF passive in time, and does manage to collect the first turret for himself. EDD now sniffing around the mid lane here. If Awaladola had ultimate, it might be a little bit more scary for this Orianna, but unfortunately does not have that. And so EDD is going to walk away and recall. Blackfire Torch coming out for the side of this Malzahar. A Luden's Echo coming out in response from this Orianna. Orianna down about 30 CS. Does not have the boots. But the real problem here is in the bot lane. This Misfortune is very accelerated. Already has that Hubris. Already has the Collector completed. And this is going to be one scary ADC. A flash forward onto the Smolder means that Torres is now dominating over Carol, and Carol going to be one very sad dragon. A little bit scary for the side of BLT now, is a 5k gold lead at 15 minutes means that they are very far behind in this match, and are going to need to find a couple of good picks to really make this happen. Not nearly as much lockdown as the side of Missing Ping Mafia. It's going to be very tough for them to come back into this game, but they still have plenty of opportunities if Warwick is able to find a good ultimate while Vi is not there. Actually, they really just need to burst out this Misfortune, but a very mobile champion and going to be very hard to lock down. Multiple members up here from both teams. Torres will recall, go back to the mid lane to answer Carol's push in. Not a lot of action going to happen on this top side. This Drake is spawning in just under a minute. Both teams are going to want to prioritize that next objective. For the side of MPM, it will be their sole point. Can BLT potentially stop this Drake stacking? Francis, of course, not going to allow the Jax to recall in his space. Will force him to stay for another wave. Trying to deny. Ooh, okay, Torres flashing forward onto Carol, but the ultimate coming out from Pseudo means that he will not be able to complete that. Warwick now here on EDD does use the Amumu ulti, and Torres goes godlike as Antibiotic gets a response kill onto EDD with the Orianna R. But of course, Awaladola sitting on a pink in this bush. Ooh, Vi is just going to flash forward onto Antibiotics. Antibiotics using a flash of his own, but the Vi ultimate coming out over the top. Antibiotics will actually manage to get the kill onto Jay, and that will make taking this Drake a lot harder for this MPM team. Ooh, good early flash coming out from the side of Francis means that he will be able to get away. Does go unstoppable underneath his own turret. Getting that shield out. The ignite coming from the Jax means that he will get a lot of time to push in this wave. Will manage to successfully recall. As now Warwick is on the bottom side of this Drake, and this might be a bit of a weird pinch from the side of BLT. They do secure the Dragon and the kill onto the Orianna. Warwick just not there, did not have the ultimate and did not walk in, so a bit of miscommunication from the side of BLT here. As now Jax is in a bit of trouble. Does pop the ultimate, but the ignite coming out from Francis, and Ronit is just not able to get away from that bear. Will go down on that top side. Does manage to get the turret in response, but if you are BLT right now, you really want to be getting as much gold as you can without dying so that you can continue to get more gold. Francis answering back. does manage to get the top lane turret. And that is all outers gone for the side of BLT. A 5k gold lead now at 18 minutes, almost 19, for the side of MPM. As Francis getting hovered by a couple members of his team, Pseudo finding them and trying to keep things at Tornado's reach. But with 4 members here for MPM, they're really kind of looking for a fight. They are going to take away as much of this jungle as they can from the Warwick. And I really don't think you want to fight right now if you are the side of BLT. You really just want to scale up this Smolder, try to get him to that critical 225 stacks. Is not even at 125 at this point, and that is going to be rough. EDD now here in the middle, multiple members flashing forward using the ultimate, and of course Torres ultimating over the top as well. 3 dead for the side of BLT. They chose to fight and they suffered for it. A very rough time for them. Antibiotics though getting an answer, almost managing to take down Torres. That Oriana ball is nothing to sniff at, even though Antibiotics is down. Francis now in a bit of trouble here. Does manage to get the shield off, but Warwick is a champion. And Antibiotics not making the same mistake that his top laner did, does manage. Ooh, Rake now in a bit of a tough position, but Jay is there to back up his ADC. Torres will not go down. 10-0-6. A 700 gold bounty on this Misfortune right now. And that was almost a mistake, but Jay, really good at backing up his laners, is there to help out. As now Carol does not know that a Walladola is sitting in this bush. The Malzahar ultimate will come out, and my goodness, do those space aids do a lot of damage. Carol going to flash forward to finish off the kill. Flash R coming out from the Malzahar does secure the kill onto Carol. And that poor dragon, he really just wants to farm, man. Leave him alone. 149 farm on that Smolder. Meanwhile, a Walladola 202, just under 10 CS per minute. And now Jax is in a bit of trouble here. 3 people here to kill him. And it will be the Misfortune picking up the kill. 4 members on this top side, so potentially they are looking for this Baron. Not a whole lot of vision for the side of BLT. And Walladola is smartly recalling here to make sure that BLT cannot get a play on the other side. Will manage to back off, and the rest of his team will manage to take this Baron. 22 minutes and a 10k gold lead coming out for the side of MPM. They are looking scary as they run towards this dragon with as much speed as championly possible. Carol, not long for this world, buddy. You better run. He is flashing. Just trying to create as much time, I guess, for his team as he can. But Jay going to hit him with that Vault Breaker. And I don't know, man. I don't know if your flash is worth it there. Rekt will blow his flash. EDD, though, has multiple charges of that bandage toss. Will manage to catch him in the end. Jax soon to follow. Carol and Antibiotics trying to get something in response on the bottom side, but 5 members of MPM are marching it down in this mid lane. You are going to need a recall very quickly, or you are going to lose this game. The mid inhibitor turret going down. The mid inhibitor soon to follow. As 3 members are alive for the side of MPM. Oh, a great shockwave coming out from Antibiotics. Mom over the top. Unfortunately, a little bit late, and Carol is trying, but does get ultimated by Francis and Jay. Torres goes legendary. As Warwick trying to find something here onto a Walladola. A Walladola baiting the recall there. As now multiple members here will respawn for the side of... Oh my goodness, Pseudo. Very good flash. Oh, okay. So a little bit of a team fight here, and this is a bit of a sticky situation for the side of MPM. They do make it work, though. Jack's going down, and Warwick soon to follow. Oh my goodness. The bounce takes Pseudo's life on that Jenna. Just not a lot of health at this point in the game. That almost looked bad for the side of MPM, but they make it work. That choke point, a very rough position to fight, but Orianna not having the ultimate there means that they are not able to complete any of those kills. 13k on this red side team. They are looking strong as they complete their Ocean Soul. Now going to take away as much as they can from the red side jungle of BLT. And Carol is going to try to collect as much of this farm as possible. A black cleaver coming out for this smolder. I'm not entirely sure that is. I mean, I don't play smolder all that often, but I'm pretty sure that's not the build. I don't know about that one. But now MPM are marching down this top lane, pushing in their waves. Do not have the Baron anymore, but it may not matter. A 13 still K gold lead at 25 minutes means that they can really just slap him with the wallets. The Ori ultimate coming out, but EDD ultimate in response, and of course Torres over the top. They've used this combo time and time again, and it has been to the detriment of BLT. 2 members left, cornered inside their base. A Warwick and a Janna not able to do a whole lot against this team. A Walladola taking a little bit of damage here. But with that Rylai's, Warwick is not going to have a very fun time. He is going to die to the guns of Torres. And now, that is going to be it. Missing Ping Mafia. A very strong showing in first game and an even stronger showing in the second game. My goodness.